everybody, it's Wendy with a Bead on a Wire Jewelry, and I am here today with Jessie James Beads, and we are going to be doing a tutorial, a pendant and possibly a pendant and earrings using their mermaid beads. So they sent me 3 colors. This purple mix here is Siren. Then we have a pink, it is Coral Queen. And we have a green that is Splash. So these are so beautiful, and I wanted to actually open them with you all and look at these colors, because we will have to decide which color we want to use for we're going to actually be making a mermaid. So this is their Let's Be Mermaids little promotion, and these are so pretty. So let's just dump them out here, and we're going to look at what's in them. Oh my goodness. So we've got Mermaid Tails. These are glass. They are beautiful. Look, they've got kind of like an AB coating on them. And they're just drilled straight through, which is nice. It's not the briolette style. I like that. This is so much easier to use. And so we've got 4 mermaid tails in this aqua color. We have, let's see here. We have a seashell. We have 2 seashells, it looks like, and a green. How pretty those are. And these are gold, gold toned. Everything's gold toned except, well, he's kind of gold toned too. Okay, so here's a couple of starfish. We have a couple of seashells. We have a couple of bigger seashells, or 1 bigger seashell. Let's see, let's go this way with the mat a little bit. We've got, these look like bead caps of some sort. These are interesting. I've never seen these before. Not sure. Huh, interesting. Okay, so we've got a couple of bead caps. These are very deep. They're almost like a tassel cap maybe. Pretty. Ooh, we've got a couple of pave rhinestone metal beads here. Those are really pretty. We have a couple of crystals, of course. Look how beautiful. How sparkly those are. We have what looks like maybe some agate. They feel like agate. Maybe some crackled agate there. Those are beautiful beads. Look at that. We've got some other glass beads here. They look like just a painted glass bead. They're very pretty. They look like ocean, like the froth on the ocean with the bubbles and stuff. Okay, we have a couple of large bicones. These look to be maybe 10 millimeter. Oops. There they are. And some mermaid beads. They've included some mermaid. These are the faux moonstone. I think they're beautiful. They look like they have little lights inside. I think they're just gorgeous. So some mermaid beads. Here's some more crystal. Ooh, these are really pretty. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at the sparkle. Those are almost blinding. They're so sparkly. Those are beautiful. We've got some pearls. Oh, there's another one of those. We've got some pearls, because no undersea theme is complete without pearls. And we've got some little metal spacers here in several different shapes. Some tiny little cone-shaped beads. Okay, and some little metal rondelle spacers. So that is the Splash set right here. Let's go ahead and just stick it in one of these containers so it doesn't roll around everywhere. Okay, here we have Coral Queen. Let's take a look at it. I do have a I have a staple remover here somewhere, but at the moment, can't remember where it is. So this is Coral Queen. Let's see what we've got here. I will have a link in the description box below if you're interested in purchasing these kits. It's my affiliate link. It doesn't cost you any more to use it, but it gives me a small commission, which helps my channel. So if you're interested in that, I will link it in the description box below. So here again, we have some of the pink glass mermaid tails. How beautiful. It's a very, very pale, really pretty pink. Okay. We have got, oh, this is pretty, a starfish pendant piece, focal. We have a couple of these cage beads, which I just think are so cool. Really pretty. We've got some larger rondelles. These look like maybe 12 millimeter, probably. We have some of the hematite starfish. Got something else in there. Aren't those pretty? Or howlite, not hematite. I'm sorry, howlite starfish. A couple more of the pave rhinestone beads. And these are like rose gold and gold kind of finish on these. So these are really pretty. Here's two of the pink or coral colored Seashell Charms. Here's this Seashell Charm. We've got several of these, just like in the other one, only the pink. Here are the mermaid beads for this one. These are an interesting color. They're kind of like a brownish, but look at that. Look at the flash when you roll them around. They're so pretty. We have some larger drops with like an opal kind of AB coating. A couple or 3 or 4 here of smaller rhinestone beads and a couple of 3 or 4 larger ones. Those are so pretty. And then we've got these little pink, these are kind of like an opal finish druck, looks like, or similar to that. Little round bead. Very pretty. It's like a luster finish. Here we have some cat's eye. Looks like little coral colored cat's eye beads. We have some metals in here. 2 of these and 2 of these. 4 rondelles, glass rondelles. Those are beautiful. And a bunch of little rondelle, rhinestone rondelle pieces. So, oh boy, this is a sparkly one. Very pretty. So that is the Coral Queen. All right, now let's get into the Siren. I think everybody's going to like it because of it's purple. Okay. And we're going to actually make a mermaid pendant and maybe some earrings, pending. We'll see. Whoops. I had another staple. I don't know where it went. Okay, so here is the Siren Set. And again, we've got the beautiful little mermaid tails. These are so pretty. In a purple with a little bit of an AB coating. For charms in this one, they're like a dark, ooh, these are really, I like it, a dark theme. Kind of a gray, charcoal gray color. Looks pretty with the purple. And these little shells as well. We've got 2 of those little guys. Oh my goodness, look here are some freshwater pearls. Look at those. I hope goodness, I keep pulling this way. I'm terrible about being off frame. There's some freshwater pearls. Those are beautiful. We've got some large pearls, look like about 16 millimeter here maybe. Some beautiful ceramic beads. These are pretty. Some drops, glass drops. And let's see what these are. These are like the electroplated beads. They're really cool. And then we've got some purple mermaid beads. Beautiful. We have some rhinestone, some rhinestone large hole beads with the purple crystals. Beautiful. Look at that. Some really cool little glass beads here with like a bumpy finish. If you can see that? It's not faceted, it's like dented. A little bumpy finish. Oh, we've got these 4 little seed bead loops. These are adorable. My goodness, look at those. So cute. We have a bunch of crystal rondelles here. Oh, those are pretty, like an iris finish, kind of. Now these are these all the same? Can't tell if they're the same or different. Some of them look a little different, but it may just be the way they're laying. No, these are round. Okay. Or not round, but rondelle, more rondelle shape. These other ones are a little flatter. So we've got two different things going on here. I think I got them out. These might be these. Yeah, there we go. They're all very, very sparkly. Very sparkly and pretty. We have some bead caps. A larger size here, 4 of them, and then about 6 of a smaller. There they are. Here's another one of those crystals. I love those. They're so sparkly. And we've got some bicones in black and some rondelle spacers. And this is all silver toned. So I'm going to pause the camera and I am going to see which set I think will work best for what my plan is with the mermaid, okay? And I will be back in a minute and show you what we're going to use. Okay, so I'm back and I am going to tell you guys that I made this necklace right here using the Splash and Siren sets, and that was supposed to be the tutorial. But unfortunately, my camera quit recording without telling me, so I've been having technical issues lately like you would not believe. So we're going to make another mermaid because obviously I didn't get to show you guys how to do this one. So this is what it's going to look like, sort of. You can make them all different, and it totally depends on what beads you have as to how different you make it, like from this one. But this one is the one that I actually intended to show you guys. But we're going to use the pink. We're going to use the Coral Queen set. So it just gives you an idea of what this would look like if you use the Splash and Siren kits and combine them, or I'm going to show you what it will look like if we use the Coral Queen set. Okay, so here she is. We'll set her right here for a minute, and I will show you what you're going to need for this. So you're going to need, for this one, I just spilled my spacer beads everywhere. You're going to need one of the pink tails. Okay, so here's one of the pink mermaid tails. You're going to need one of the large pink rondelles and one of these drop beads. You're going to need the bead cap. Now this bead cap was actually in one of the other sets, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but it works great on their tails. You're going to need one of the Howlite starfish and one of the little conch shell charms. I've got some of the metal beads and rondelle spacers here. One of the pave rhinestone beads. And a bunch of these are just the little metal spacer beads and stuff. And I'm not sure how many of them we'll use. Each mermaid turns out really differently, I've found. Now these are Jessie James bead caps right here. These are from another strand though, but I'm going to incorporate them in here because I needed a couple of bigger ones like you see up here on her. And then these are some bead caps I just pulled out of my own stash, and I had to do that because it requires a lot of bead caps to make her. And I used all of mine on this one, and they were silver anyway, so I think we're going to go with the gold theme. So we're going to use these little bead caps. They're just little flower petal, like 6mm, maybe 8mm petal bead caps, okay? So that's all those are. You're going to need some little clear 8/0 seed beads. Now these are just the ones that come off of strands of beads. These are what they use to space the beads out, and I save them because a lot of times I use them for spacers and things. So you're going to need some of those. And then just an assortment of beads from the collection. So I've just picked out some of the beads out of the Coral Queen collection. And then you're going to need 4 crimp beads, 1 clasp of your choice, and 2 clamshell covers. I'm just using this little box clasp. This is just one that I had from my own stash. I used the magnetic Jessie James clasp on this one, so I'm going to use this box clasp on this one. And 4 crimp beads and 2 clamshell covers. Okay, so that's what you're going to need for that. You're going to need some head pins, eye pins, some chain. I'm using this gold Coriana chain, but you can use any chain that you want. And then you're going to need, this is 20 gauge wire. This is about, I don't know, 9-inch piece. You may not need it as long as I've got it here, but I tend to cut more because I'm not very good with wire, and I want to make sure I have enough. And then you're going to need a couple of pieces of 22 gauge wire. And this one is probably 3 or 4 inches. This is going to make her arms and her hands like you see here on this one. Okay. And then this one is going to be used to make an eye pin because we don't have any eye pins that are really big enough for what we need. Okay. So I think that's everything. Get your stuff together, and head pins, eye pins, and jump rings as well. And we'll get started. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make her tail. So you're going to need a piece of your 22 gauge wire. We're going to make an eye pin. So I am going to go ahead and bend it at a 90-degree angle, and I'm going to leave quite a bit of wire on here because I'm going to want to kind of curl it around, and I'll show you here in a minute. So go ahead and put your mermaid tail. Of course, I've got it going the wrong way. Go ahead and put your mermaid tail on, get it on there, and then you're going to take your round nose pliers, grab it in the bend, and just go ahead and bend it right over the top of your mermaid tail. You want to do it pretty close, okay, and just bend it right around there. You're just creating a loop. Now I am going to take this one and bend it back up straight because we don't want it to be looped around going that way. And I think I'm just going to wrap it once. I debated wrapping it all because I don't want to interfere with this bead cap, but I think we're going to have to wrap once just to give it the security that it's going to need. So I'm just going to come around one time with my wrap. This is being very difficult. But yeah, just one wrap around just to give it a little security so it doesn't come undone. And you want to keep this down as close to the tail as you can get it. And see, my wire wrapping skills are not the greatest, I'm telling y'all. But you want to keep it down close to the tail as you can get it because you don't want it to interfere too much with the bead cap that we're going to use. So that's all I'm going to do. That gives it enough security that I know it's not going to come undone because it's completely wrapped around this other wire. Whoops. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and tuck this in a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to take the bead cap and just put it right over top of my mermaid tail. There it is. And I think these are so, so, so cute. Okay. So now let's take one of these little sparkly rondelle spacers and put this on here just to give it a little topper. And now we're just going to make a loop, regular loop. Now Chris is checking them out. Okay, so bend this at a 90-degree angle. Now I'm going to cut it a little longer and I'll show you why. Go ahead and cut it. Leave yourself a little bit of wire. We're going to make a head or a split ring of sorts. So just take your wire or your round nose pliers and just coil this back and just go beside itself for several, I like to coil it several times. I feel like it makes it secure and it's going to attach onto your mermaid, but you're not going to have to worry about it coming loose. So if you can see, it's coiled 3 times. It's kind of like a split ring. And that'll keep, you know, you won't have to worry at all about this coming undone, okay? It's just a little more secure than if you just made a regular loop like a jump ring. All right, now you're going to need your big 20 gauge wire. And you're going to take this and we're going to make a loop again. This is just going to be a regular loop because this wire is quite a bit stronger. So I'm just going to bend it at the 90-degree angle and roll back a loop. I'm not too worried about the 20 gauge coming undone. Okay, so there we have a loop, just a regular little loop. And we're going to open up our loop, which mine's not very pretty, but it's not going to show. Not too much anyway. And put our little tail on there. Okay, and go ahead and close your loop. So here's what you've got. You've got your tail hanging on your 20 gauge wire with a loop at the bottom. Now I'm going to take my larger bead cap. Where did they go? Here they are. Got half my beads over here. Okay, my larger bead cap. And I'm just going to put it on like this. And it just covers that a little bit. It gives it a little decorative element. It helps if you put it in the middle hole though, right there. Just like that. Okay? And I don't know, I hope I mentioned this in the beginning when I was telling you the supplies you needed, but you're going to need some beads. I did. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I'm half losing it today. All right, so here we have it. Now we're going to build her body. So we need your drop bead, and we're going to put it on. Actually, let me put a bead cap on. I'm going to put a bead cap on facing up, and then put this drop on. Okay, so then when you push it down, and you want to kind of shove it down onto the bead cap, it gives it just a pretty little decorative element there. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to start building the scaly part of her body, and this is what you need the bead caps for. So I'm going to take a bead cap and place it face down, or pointed down like normal. Okay, so like this. Then I'm going to take one of my clear 8/0 seed beads, and I'm going to put it on my wire. I've got way too much wire here. Way too much wire. I tend to do that though because I'm always afraid I'm going to run out. And then I'm going to put a bead cap on. And all that does is it spaces these out and gives her the look of having little scales, if you can see that there. Okay, so then I'm going to put on another of the 8/0 seed beads and another bead cap. And I'm going to do that. You can do it as many times as you want. I'm going to do it just, let me see how it looks after I get this one on. So yeah, that's probably enough for me. I'm going to do 4, and that's going to be her little body. Okay, now, let's see. I think I'm going to do her arms. Well, I know I'm going to do her arms, but I'm trying to decide. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do them now. Now, the easiest way to do her arms is to take your 22 gauge wire, find pretty much the middle. Doesn't have to be exact, and you want this to be tiny. Down at the very end of your round nose pliers, you're going to bend these wires around and make a tiny little, see how tiny that is? Tiny little loop. You don't want it to be very big. Smash it down, and you're going to insert this onto your 20 gauge wire. And if you made your loop tiny enough, it should not spin too much, but it'll spin around a little. And just move them down. We're just going to deal with them here in a second. Okay. And then we're going to take another bead cap, and I'm going to do it facing up like this. Actually, let me do one facing down and see if that'll kind of cover. Yeah, it does. It kind of covers her arms a little, so I'm going to face this down, and then I'm going to do another one facing up. And now we're going to put her head on. So let's do that, just like that. See, one facing down and one facing up. And then I'm going to put her head on here. Yeah, just like that. Okay, now you want this to be tight. You want to make sure that you're pressing these bead caps down, and you don't want this to have movement. You want it to be fairly tight. So make sure you're doing that. We're going to put her hair on. There's her hair. And then we're going to build her a little crown. So let's do this spacer, Rondelle spacer, a bead cap facing upwards, just like this, and this little crystal pave bead. And there we have built her a little crown. That looks really cute. Okay, so now make sure this is all pushed down really tight. You don't want anything moving, and you're going to make this, you're going to bend it 90 degrees, and we're going to make a wrapped loop. So let me cut some of this off, because clearly I don't need that much for a wrapped loop. Okay. I'm going to get right in the bend here, and I'm going to go up, over, rotate my pliers, and bring it all the way around. Okay, so when I take my plier out, I've got a little loop here like this. I'm going to grab it with my bent nose pliers right here, and I'm going to grab my short nose pliers, and I'm just going to start wrapping. And I want to do this, I'm going to do mine neatly. You can do it messy if you want, but for this little mermaid, I want it to be neat. Okay, I don't want it to be real messy. Just straighten your loop up if you need to, and just wrap around until it's tight, until your piece is tight and it's not going to move. Okay, and then you can cut this off, and you can tuck your wire in. Okay, and you may have to hold it to kind of keep your wire from spinning. Okay, there we go. Usually takes me a couple times to get it. All right, so here she is so far. Okay, she's really cute. There she is so far. Now we're going to make her arms and hands, or her hands. So obviously we don't want our arms to hang down quite that long, but we need to make a little loop on the end for her hand. So I'm going to cut it probably about right here, just whatever I think looks right. And same on the other side. There we go. And I'm going to take these tiny little, I've got a couple spacers and a couple rondelles, and I'm just going to put these on to give her just a little bit of a little accent there, like she's got little cuffs on or something. So let me get them on. So I'm going to do this rondelle spacer and then the little daisy spacer, and then I'm just going to take this and roll it into a small loop right here at the bottom, and you want to make sure you get the loop closed completely. And there's her little hand. Isn't it cute? She's so cute. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So little rondelle, crystal rondelle, and then little daisy spacer, and same thing. I'm just going to roll. Now you may want to make this loop just a tad bigger because we're going to hook a couple of charms onto it. So just make sure that there's enough room for her to hold them. And there's her other little hand, and there's room to stay up there. So there she is. Okay, so now we're going to take our head pin, a couple of head pins here, and this one I'm probably just going to hook, you need a jump ring, I'm probably just going to hook this directly onto the jump ring, the little seashell, and then I think this little howlite bead I'm just going to make into a little dangle. Whoops. So just go ahead and put him on there. Just like that. Go ahead and make a loop for him to hang on. And just roll the loop right back. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my jump ring and I'm just going to hook these right onto her hand. Now you can put something in each hand if you want to. I just, for some reason, don't. I always like to just have her holding things in one hand for some reason. So she's been treasure hunting. She's got some little treasure here. Oops. That's a thick jump ring. Okay, there we go. So there it is. She's holding her little starfish and her little shell, and just like her, she's holding a few little things that she's found out in the ocean. All right, so there she is. We're done with our mermaid. So now we're just going to bead our necklace, and we're just going to take our chain. I have a long bit of it here, and I don't need this much, but let me go ahead and we're just going to put her right on our chain. Now, if she hangs crooked, all you have to do is just take the loop in your plier and just spin it. Okay, and that way she'll hang straight. There she is. Now, I like my necklaces to be about 24, these kinds of necklaces to be about 24 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to measure right around 24 inches and cut it just so I don't have to work with all this chain. So I'm just going to get about the 24-inch mark, give it a cut, and here I've got my necklace I can work with. So I'm going to grab some beads. Now, one thing I like to do is I like to do these back-to-back bead caps. So I'm going to put this one facing away from the mermaid. Okay, I'm going to put this on here, and one on the other side doing the same thing. And they're kind of hard to get down on your chain. And as you can see, some of these I've kind of flattened out You can actually flatten these out and use them for other things if you want to, but right now I want these to stay cupped, and I'm going to put them back to back. I just think it gives a pretty little element right there on your connection point. And then I'm just going to put a couple of these little pink beads. These are beautiful. They have like a little luster finish on them. They're so pretty. Okay, make sure that they are in the bead cap. That looks cute. And then I think I will do, I might go ahead and do the gold bead here. Actually, do I have smaller gold beads? Let's see what I have. I didn't use one on her. So let me look at my pink. I should have another of these little smaller ones. Thought I did. Maybe I used it on something earlier. It's hard to tell. It is hard to tell, honestly. I have been kind of scatterbrained lately. Started with our move. After our move, I just could never get it back together. Okay, well, oh, there they are. Yeah, see, scatterbrained. Okay, I'm going to use these smaller ones right on here, just like this. So here's what we've got. And then I will probably do one of these bigger ones, bigger rondelles. I'm not going to do a whole lot on here because I feel like this chain is really pretty, and I just don't feel like you have to do a ton. You know, it doesn't require a lot. I'm going to put a bead cap on facing the correct way, just like this. And one more. Okay, and then I'm going to do the bigger rhinestone bead. Oh yeah, that's really pretty, really pretty. These mixes were just beautiful, I thought. I just could not get over how pretty they were. Okay, and then I'm probably going to do another of the pink beads. Just like this. And then I think I will do these kind of figure 8 shaped beads, I guess. Not figure 8, hourglass. That's what I'm going for. Hourglass shaped beads. And then another of the pink bead. And I think that I might just end it right there. Let me look and see what it looks like. Okay. Yeah, I think that's enough. It just gives enough of a decoration and a sparkle. You don't need to beat up a whole lot on this chain. Okay, so the way I'm going to get, what I do like to do is I take my chain ends and match them up, and then I'm going to lay her on the table and make sure that my beads are even on both sides, because I don't like them to float all over my chain, okay? So I'm going to crimp. I'm going to take a crimp bead on each side of the chain. So one on each. And I just lay it here on the table and I don't move it. So I'm going to pick it up and pull that crimp bead down. Now, you can use crimp bead covers if you want. Honestly, I don't feel like they are noticeable all that much, so I'm probably not going to. I'm just going to pull this down. I don't want to pull the chain too much. I just want to let gravity kind of get it. You don't want this to be super tight because you don't want it to be stiff, but you do want it to keep your beads in place, okay? So I'm just going to let gravity do the work, hold this up, and just crimp that down, okay? Now, for the other side, I want to take my ends again and make sure that they're even, okay? And then I'm just going to take the other side and do the same thing, except for I'm probably not going to, well, I may pick it up. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just put this on, let it slide down. Let gravity do the work. I'll pick it up just a little bit. I just don't want it to be tight so it's stiff. You just want it to kind of be in there securely, but not stick straight, okay? So there we have it. And I got mine a little bit tighter than I would have wanted to, but I think it's going to be okay. All right, so there's your necklace. Now we're going to finish it, and this is super simple as well. We've got our clamshell covers, And we've got our crimp beads. So you're just going to take your clamshell and put it on. Your crimp bead and put it on. And there's really no need to worry about crimping, you know, pretty or anything. It just needs to be secure. Your clamshell is going to cover it. These are probably a 1mm crimp bead. That's what I like to use, and the chain is 0.8 millimeters. So I feel like this size crimp works really good. I'm just putting it on, and I'm just going to smash it down. You're not using the 2-channel thing like for tiger tail or something, so you don't really have to worry about crimping it with your crimping pliers. You can just smash it down. If you feel like it's not secure enough, I've never had a problem, but I pull on them to make sure that they're secure. But if you feel like it's not, you can put a little E6000 glue in here in the clamshell before you close it, and that way it will dry and be very secure. So I'm just going to close that up. I'm going to put my other chain through here and go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Just crimp it, pull it up, close this up, and there you have your 2 finished ends. And now I'm just going to take my clasp and I'm going to find a couple of smaller jump rings. I like to use small ones if I can. There's a couple. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my clasp on. And everybody always asks about my tools. I'm using Xuron tools. I do have a blog that I will link below, and that is where you can find links to all of my tools. It's my Amazon affiliates link, and if you want to use that link, it won't cost you anymore to use it, but it gives me a small commission that again helps support my channel. So if you're interested in that, I love these tools. I've got to say, they're my favorites. So let's put this one on. And close it right up. And there you have it. There she is. She's our little mermaid princess. She was the coral queen, actually. And these are funny. I've made these for a while now, and I've made several of them, and I started naming them after my grandmothers. So the first one was Beulah, the second one was Phyllis, and then I made one and just named her Anastasia because I thought that was a very pretty ocean-sounding name. And so this one, on the end of the video that did not record, I said I was going to start naming them after my great aunts. So this one would have been Julia. And so this one, let's see, this one can be Mary. I had an Aunt Mary that was, my grandmother was one of 12 actually, brothers and sisters. So this one can be Mary. So we had Beulah in my grandmother, and then here's Julia, and this one can be Mary. And the more I make, you know, I'll eventually get to my other grandmothers, and she was one of like 9 or 10. So there's all kinds of aunts in there that I've got plenty of names to choose from. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will have a link, like I said, if you want to follow that link to purchase these kits, you can. And again, it was the Siren kit, the Coral Queen, and the Splash. And these, I have to say, have been so much fun to work with. So thank you to Jessie James Beads for allowing me to do this. And there are actually these sets are so beautiful. I've really had a good time. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.